Hey guys, it's Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com, and this is your reminder. There are 10 days of celebration left. It's time to get back to the annual catalog, take a look at those things that are on your list that you might not have purchased, and get them now while you can get a free gift. So we're circling back to the annual catalog and making this beautiful fun fold card for spring. I've been shoveling way too much snow, so I wanted something bright and springy for today. If you go over to the blog kitchentablestamper.com, there will be a link below this video. There will be a project sheet. The project sheet will have pictures and measurements and everything you need. No need to scramble to write them down. And some pictures of my husband Max and I moving the snow that we've been dealing with. We're circled back to the annual catalog here. The designer series paper we're using is the Playing with Patterns host paper, and we're mixing up Art Gallery and the Floral Gallery dies with this lovely U stamp set. It might be maybe a little bit of a sleeper for you, but if you haven't seen it, it's a great greeting set, and I love the fonts. I also love how the simple print in Art Gallery and the simple print mixed with the script make a nice combination to expand upon and build greetings. So the little sprigs and some of the leaves and things could mix and match with Art Gallery too. So it's a really fun combination of products. And check out that annual catalog. We're gonna stamp our flowers first. And so I'm gonna bring in So Saffron and Bumblebee. And if you are not familiar with the way that it works, Stampin' Up! Is going to retire the 2022 in colors, including Bumblebee. So it's Magenta Madness, Just Jade, Misty Moonlight, Cinnamon Cider, and Bumblebee. And with supply chain issues being what they are, I suggest if you want more of those colors, re-inkers, cardstock, if you haven't gotten your ink pads yet, go get them now and enjoy celebration rewards on your $50 and $100 purchases. There's no limits. You earn one free item for every $50, $100 purchase. So if you do $150, you get host rewards, $15, and either 3 level 1 celebration stamp sets, or I should say products, because there's more than just stamp sets. Or you can have a level 2 celebration item and a level 1 celebration item. All right, so we are trying to get 3 of these flower trio out of scraps. I'm stamping with So Saffron, and let's see if we can fit that one on this scrap. We don't need anything but the little flowers. We don't need the leaves or the sprig, so we can really just kind of stamp off the edge, and it's okay. And we're going to take the details, do 2-step stamping, and really bring these flowers to life with Bumblebee. I love to layer Bumblebee and So Saffron, and between the white spaces that are left from the stamp, and then layering the 2 colors 2-step. Look at how beautiful the highlights and shadows really makes those flowers dimensional. All right, let's do our other 2 the same way. Beautiful. Now we're going to change from our yellows to balmy blue. Nice simple chamois here, and we're going to clean off the same stamp. We're going to just switch colors here. Now for this one, all we need is that sprig. So we can just ink off the edge of the stamp there. And we need 2. Lovely. Now the inside of our card is basic white, and it is 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to take this same image, I'm going to ink it up entirely with balmy blue. And then we're going to stamp it here in the bottom corner. Lovely. All right, let's switch. We're gonna bring in Memento, Tuxedo Black, and our greeting Love is what makes us a family. This is from the Lovely You stamp set. We'll stamp that a bit above our flowers, centered right to left. And we're going to switch to Pear Pizzazz now. And another scrap of basic white. We need 2 of these leafy stems. Let's see if I can get them on this scrap. Might not be able to. Might have to get another scrap. We'll do 1 and stamp another. Okay, that's our stamping. Next, I'm going to bring in my designer series paper for our front panels. These are from the Pattern Party designer series paper, and we've got 2 3/4 square. Our second piece is 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. Now we want to add this beautiful balmy blue sky to the background. We're going to bring in our mini grid paper, brush, and the balmy blue ink pad. And we're going to tap the blending brush on the ink pad. And then very lightly, holding the end of the brush, swirl some color onto the black and white designer series paper. Now this takes tapping and layering to build the color and a very light hand. And the best way to keep the ink on the brush lightly is to tap, and then when you're blending, hold the end of the brush so that you don't use leverage to intensify the color. You want a really light hand here. You'll see it builds as we go. And we're going to do both pieces the same way, with a nice cloud of blue sky in the background. Just layering as we go. Patience will give you a nice smooth ink blend with no streaks and no splots. And there it is. We'll do the same on our second piece. All right, there are our inked backgrounds. Let's clear away the ink pads. All right, let's bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we're going to cut out our flowers, leaves, and sprigs, as well as some of these awesome labels. These 2 postage edge labels come with the Floral Gallery die set. And we're going to do a small and a long. And then we're using the same Floral Gallery dies and cut out our sprigs and leaves. All right, it's going to take a few passes. Let's go ahead and give this a crank. There it is. Look at these labels. I love this die set. These little postage labels will make any stamp set with any greetings, narrow greetings you have new again. Really a cool die set. So we've got our flowers, and now we're going to use the same die and cut the sprigs, and that'll really minimize the amount of fussy cutting we need to do for these little sprigs. So line that up and give another crank. I've got all of our die cut pieces, our inked designer series paper. We just want the sprigs from the balmy blue, so we can go ahead and cut away the sprigs. And we just want the flowers from the So Saffron Bumblebee one. So we'll go ahead and cut off the sprig and just leave the flowers. So we're gonna have to do a little surgery on all these pieces. And our 2 balmy blue sprigs. Let's see how die cutting that partially really saves a lot of fussy cutting. All right, we can put these aside for just a minute. Let's work on the base pieces of our card. We're using crumb cake for this. And we have 3 pieces. We have 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, that's the base. And then we have the flaps. And these are 3 1/2 by 3 and 4 by 3 1/2. We're gonna emboss the flaps with the Timber 3D embossing folder. I've already done one, so let's get this guy embossed. It's a 3D embossing folder, so we need number 1, our platform, Timber folder, and number 4, our gray plates. I'm gonna Just drop that in there and give it a crank. Now this is an embossing folder that carried over from the holiday catalog. You'll find this one online only. And there it is. I love the subtle wood grain texture. My Simply Score tool. We're going to put both the flaps in on the long side. So it's a 3 by 3.5. We're going to put it in on the 3.5 inch side and score at 1/2 inch. And then this one's 3.5 by 4. It's in on the 4 inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. There's our flaps. Let's burnish those with a bone folder. All right, so there's our glue flap. That one's going to be off to the right with the smaller flap. There's our glue flap for the bigger piece. And that one's going to be off to the left. I'm going to bring back our liner. Remember, we stamped this earlier. And I've got a couple more pieces of designer series paper. This is from that same pattern party. And this is 3/4 inch by 4 inches. We're going to glue that top and bottom. And we're going to also add the yellow flower details now. So liquid glue. Here's your yellow flower details right over the blue one. Just line it right over. And then your designer series paper to finish, top and bottom. We're going to start with our larger panel and open the glue tab, put the glue on the flap. Then we're going to center so that there's the same amount of white above and below the flap. Then we can slide until it's nice and snug. And burnish that down. You can use your bone folder here if you like until it grips. Now from the opposite side, we're going to do the same thing. Open up. You got your glue tab. Add some liquid glue. You can use tear and tape here if you like, but I like the liquid glue because then I have time to slide and make sure everything is straight, centered, and level. Here we want to divide the space, the white space that you see here between the designer series paper and the flap and the crumb cake. We want to divide that when we've got it where we like it. Can burnish that down. And there's our little flip flap design. Can now glue that to our card base. I'm going to hide those tabs right in between the layers. Everything will have a nice crumb cake finish. Here's your card. Let's bring in our designer series paper pieces. The small square will get centered right on our small flap. And the rectangle piece for an inside flap is going to be a little bit different. We're going to put this one on with liquid glue also. But it's going to have an even right top and bottom border. I'm going to leave the excess crumb cake on the left side. So then we can bring our denim ribbon to cover the transition between the designer series paper and the crumb cake, and it makes a nice little finish. So let's go ahead and wrap with that denim ribbon and tie a bow. I love this stuff. It's actually back from the last annual catalog, or maybe the last holiday catalog in the spring catalog, the January-June catalog. Denim ribbon kind of goes with everything. It's definitely a good essential piece. All right, so we've got our ribbon. I like to tie from the spool. It helps me to have less waste. And we're going to give that a big loopy bow. There we go. Cut away from the spool and fix the angle over here. Looking good. We've got to do a tiny bit more surgery. Our stems are a little bit too long on our green, so we're just going to trim them off. I'm going to go a little bit below that bottom leaf and just kind of round, cut it away round. Both of them the same is fine. And then we're going to adhere one inside and one outside. Let's start with our inside piece here. Liquid glue. And then take one of our sprigs and one of our flowers, get some liquid glue on the back of each of those. there. Looks good. Let's put our flowers to the outside too. The difference on the outside is we're going to put a little bit of dimensional adhesive behind the sprig. So I've got a little edge here. I'm going to cut a little strip. Just pop it on the back there. Got liquid glue for the leaves and the yellow. Here you want to be very careful. You don't want to go past the fold of the card. Your card won't open properly if you go past the fold. So we're going to arrange these guys so that nothing goes past the right side over here. I feel like a florist here. There we go. Looks pretty good. Let's slide to the side and do our sentiments. We have our pretty little postage labels here, skinny guys, and we're going to use the sentiments from Art Gallery that coordinate. So you've got your little dies, and a long one cuts out "I'm thinking of you," "You're lovely," "Congratulations." And the little one does some of the shorter phrases, "Sorry," "Thank you." It's really a neat set of mix and match greetings and the labels, but of course you can use all the skinny one-line greetings that you already have with these dies too. So you'll get a really exciting new shape that makes everything new again. I've got Memento Tuxedo Black ink, Stampin' Pierce Matte, and I Miss You. I'm going to do that one on the small postage label. And we can put them right center. And this guy too, "I'm thinking of you." See how perfect they are? I love it. Let's get the ink pad out of here and the Stampin' Pierce Matte. Bring our cards back in. "I'm thinking of you" is going to get some more of that dimensional adhesive. I'm going to keep cutting up this edge. Avoid right under the word "I'm," because you see it's going to kind of go past the edge. You can go past the edge on the open side, just not on the fold side. So let's make sure that we've got the right way. Yep. Just avoid that first little bit. Don't put any dimensional there. You'll glue your card closed. One right over so that it hangs off just a bit. And "I Miss You" on the inside. Isn't that pretty? That's going to go on with liquid glue on the inside. You can kind of cover the gap here. And now it is time to embellish. That's my favorite part. I love these little bee trinkets. Isn't that adorable? And we're going to use these faceted gems and really add some nice texture and sparkle. The bumblebee trinkets are 20 in a package, and one goes such a long way on a card. It's really special. So you get a lot of cards and treats out of these trinkets. We're going to add that with a mini glue dot. And you could stop right here with this embellishment if you want to. It really does pack a lot of punch, but I think a little sparkle will really pick things up a bit too. So I've got these faceted gems. They're clear, no iridescent or glitter or anything, just a nice clear with lots of sparkly facets. And then a nice pink. It's blushing bright, I believe, but I think it'll work just fine with your petal pink too, because the facets kind of throw a little bit different shades. And then the white is kind of a pearly white. There's a fantastic package of embellishments that'll go with anything. We're going to mix and use both the white and the clear. So on this one I did 2 clear on the bottom, like down from the bumblebee. This one we're going to do 2 white, and then we're going to do a white one, and then a clear one, and then a small white one. And I did the opposite on this one, so clear and then mixed with the white, and then white mixed with the clear. Isn't that pretty? They really do throw a lot of sparkle, don't they? That's it. I'm thinking of you. I miss you. And love is what makes us family. Isn't that beautiful? All right, if you've got any questions about the project, email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. Don't forget to get your in color re-inkers, ink pads, and cardstock while you still can. 10 days left in celebration. You might as well earn some freebies too. Reach out if I can help you. Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com, and to shop 24/7, you can buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching.